Last video for this week, we're going to talk about Greek drama, which also witnesses or experiences its highest level of achievement during the classical age. Theatrical performances in ancient Greece were either tragedies or comedies. Comedies, typically satire, typically politically based, just like a lot of the late night shows that you see on modern cable television. Tragedies were considered a higher form of drama that focused on important issues like traditional values, human interactions with the gods, what things are destined, and what things can humans influence. And so Athenian drama, Athens is the center of Greek drama, evolves from harvest festival ceremonies, where as part of these festivals, you would have a chorus that danced and sang and told stories. From about 534 onwards, more actors are being added to these choruses. So the chorus continues. Now you start to have actors that are interacting with one another and with the chorus. By 508, Athens had established a dramatic festival. And so this was paid for by tax revenues. You would have 3 tragedies and 5 comedies each year. Actors were assigned to the plays by lotteries, so it wasn't as though you could have the biggest and wealthiest studio and you could hire all the A-listers. You kind of had to work with a little bit what you were given. And by this point, there were 3 speaking roles, all played by men, and a chorus of 12 to 15 people. The plays were presented in one of the majestic Greek theatres. I provided a video about a Greek theatre for you to watch as well. These could seat up to 17,000 people, and the acoustics were amazing. No microphones, no modern sound technology. Actors wore masks, and still they could project their voices and they could be heard throughout the stadium. Tickets would cost about a day's wages, so think about what you're paid by the hour, think about what that for a day, and it's kind of an all-day performance, kind of like going to a sports game today. People show up to eat and to drink, especially if the play's poor, and also to watch the play. I'm going to close here by talking about the 3 great tragic playwrights of ancient Greece. The first was Aeschylus. Aeschylus was a veteran who had fought at the Battle of Marathon. He made the innovation of adding a second actor on stage, and so you had dialogue between the actors rather than more of a chorus narrating a story. He wrote 90 plays, about 70 of which survive. For Aeschylus, human beings are manipulated by the gods. And so his approach is that human beings are kind of predetermined. And there's a limit to how they can influence the ways of the gods. The next famous playwright named Sophocles added a 3rd actor. So this is where we get to the point that I was mentioning, where we have 3 actors and a chorus of 12 to 15 people. Sophocles entered 30 competitions between 465 and 405. He won 24 of them. That certainly qualifies as a dynasty. And Sophocles takes a little bit of a twist on the relationship between humans and the gods and fate that Aeschylus had developed. And instead, he creates this dramatic tension by forcing his characters to make choices between make impossible choices between serving the gods and between family loyalties and family obligations, for example. And so this is where the tragedy comes in, that the human actors are placed in this setting. They have to react and somehow respond to these difficult situations. And this leads to questions about human nature and a human approach to these types of problems. The last great playwright was Euripides, who was said to have lived in a cave. His tragedies only won 4 times, but we have 19 out of 92 of them, so we have more of his plays than any others. His plays gave the characters much more agency. So Euripides is the one who most argues that human beings are shaping their own destiny rather than being influenced by the gods. But he was also a significant religious skeptic who mocked the gods, questioned the divinity of the gods, and this meant that his plays were seen as kind of dangerous and kind of subversive in this society. So these are the 3 great playwrights of ancient Greece. Ancient Greek theatre, again, amazing achievements. Go and read one of the plays from any of these playwrights. They're fantastic read, with spellbinding read. And so it shows the sophistication of Greek culture, but also shows these questions that the Greeks are wrestling with in the classical age. This idea of the extent to which an individual can determine their own destiny, the extent to which it's kind of laid in place for them by the gods, by the government of the great polis or the empire that they're a part of. And so we see these questions that people have in the society reflected in reflected in the plays that they're writing at the time and the entertainment that people are experiencing.